In describing the initial state of the world, the oral tradition says the world was chaos and void, and darkness upon the face of the deep. So obviously, if it's chaos and void, chaos, not just void, you would expect that the world is void. So number one, there should be no reason to even mention that the world is void. That is a superfluous insertion, unnecessary. I would expect that the beginnings of the world before anything is created would be void. So why is it mentioned? The preceding word is chaos. Chaos is destruction, by the way. Don't believe me? Go to Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 23, which is the only other time those two words are used together. Tohu, wavohu, chaos and void. And notice it's literally descriptive of the destruction of the world, where Jeremiah says, no man was left and all the birds fled. So clearly, tohu, wabohu, chaos and void is descriptive of some type of physical destruction, some type of upheaval. Further proof of that are the remaining words, and darkness upon the face of the deep. Water reflects whatever is against it. So if it's reflecting darkness and the preceding words are describing chaos and void, then family, it is obviously describing some type of upheaval or destruction. Now, here is where you're really going to enjoy. Watch this. Then it says, "We ruach Elohim merachefet al penei hamayim," and the spirit, ruach, Elohim of God, merachefet, hovered above the face of the waters. Let's get a working definition for that real quick. What does hovering mean? We don't, in my class, we don't assume we know anything. You know what we assume in my class? We assume we know nothing. When you start your pursuit of knowledge, assuming you know nothing, you'd be surprised how much you learn. It's called emptying yourself of yourself. You know, your ego? Your ego tells you, I know it all. When you know it all, your cup is full. If your cup is full, God can't pour into you. Damn. Woo! Oh, yeah, you're not going to get this in Sunday school. This is not Sunday school. In my classes, we go into studying assuming we know nothing. We don't go into studying thinking that we know a lot or that we even know anything. We go in with the idea that perhaps what we know is absolutely wrong. If your cup is full, how can God pour into you? This is why in the Psalms, King David says, create for me a hollow vessel, which in Hebrew literally is a hollow heart. King David prayed to God for a hollow heart, an empty heart. Why? Because if his heart is full, God can't pour into him. Watch this. Let's look up the word hover. What does it mean? To stay in the air in one place. It's an intransitive verb, to hang fluttering in the air on the wing like a hawk. You know, a graceful stride in the air in one place. A graceful stillness in one place. Watch this. Watch this. It says, "We ruach Elohim merachefet al penei hamayim," and the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. Now watch this. Whenever you read the Spirit of God, just know that's not a direct reference to the Creator. I'm going to say that again. Whenever you read in the Bible, the Spirit of God, just know that's not a direct reference to the Creator. It's a reference to someone who is filled with the Spirit of God. Oh, yeah. mm, mm. Some of us with 20 and 30 years of learning the Bible are still getting some teaching right now, in this moment, right now. Whenever you read in the Bible the Spirit of God, that's not a direct reference to God. It's a direct reference to someone filled with the Spirit of God. And I'm speaking to my Old Testament brothers when I say that. Oh, yeah. Because we read in reference to Beit Salel, the man who constructs the tabernacle in the wilderness. You know, Exodus chapter 35. God says, I have filled him with Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God. In reference to Solomon and his wisdom, God said, I have filled him with Ruach Elohim. In reference to all the great men of the scriptures and the amazing feats and things that they are able to do, God says, I have gave them Ruach Elohim. Ruach Elohim is indicative of the filling of God's Spirit in his anointed one. Uh-oh. You learning tonight. You learning tonight. Some of us laugh at Brother Jabari when he says things like the dangers of literalism, when many of us are guilty of that very same thing. Because when you read the Spirit of God, you said to yourself that God was actually himself hovering over the waters. Yeah? Sign up for our Torah classes, zionlex@gmail.com. You will learn a lot. You will learn a whole lot. The term Ruach Elohim is descriptive of someone with the filling of the Spirit of God. Ruach Elohim. The very notion of prophecy is termed Ruach Elohim, being filled with the Spirit. Anywhere in the Bible where you read that someone is being filled with the Spirit to do something on earth, the words you always read is Ruach Elohim. And you read that right here, and you actually thought that that was God. Instead of considering the book as a panoramic text, where you don't cherry pick and say, I just want to look at what it says here. How about looking everywhere where it's used so we could fully develop what it means? Because if everywhere the term Ruach Elohim is indicative of some man being filled with the Spirit of the Creator as an anointed one, as a Mashiach, then this is not God hovering over the face of the waters. This is the Spirit of the Mashiach. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Watch this. To those who know Hebrew, shout out to my brother Divine Prospect. People like him are going to appreciate this part of the lecture where we delve into the Hebrew greatly. And anyone out there that knows biblical Hebrew, you're going to appreciate the parts of the lecture where we use the biblical Hebrew text and what we know about the vernacular, the syntax, the morphology, the phonology, the structure of the language. Watch how this unfolds. When you read, and the Spirit of God hovering over the face of the waters, this is not some graceful measure of spirit present. Remember, in the verse, in the preceding line, the author is describing the chaotic state of the world. He's describing some type of upheaval. So if the Spirit of God is present there, why would you expect a graceful movement? Watch this. The word for hovering, merachefet, is in what we call the PL stem. The PL stem in Hebrew. The PL stem is one of the 7 major Hebrew verb stems. The PL stem is descriptive of any action that the subject is doing, albeit intense. Watch this. In the verb tense which precedes it, which is known as the pa'al or kal stem, that is a simple action. So if we're speaking of the word, let's say, kill in Hebrew, he was killed, that would be the pa'al stem. He was killed. The PL stem is more intensive. It's more aggressive. The PL stem is not simply someone being killed. You can snuff out somebody's life by putting, a pillow over their head. You can snuff out somebody's life by exposing them to gases. That's not aggressive. The PL stem of kill would be to slaughter or to massacre, because that's more intense, that's more aggressive. So watch this. The word hovering over the face of the water in reference to the spirit of the Mashiach, or the Spirit of God, it says merachefet in the PL stem, which is aggressive and intensive. That means whatever the Spirit of God is, it is moving intensely in this environment. Why is the Spirit of God moving intensely and aggressive in this environment? Because it is responsible for overturning the world that's being described in a state of chaos and upheaval. Damn. Woo! So if the Spirit of God is not just hovering, you see, this is why you need to learn biblical Hebrew, because you won't have a clue of what's really going on unless you can tap into the language. What you mean the Spirit of God is hovering over the face of the water? Whenever we use the term hover, it's a graceful flight or in stillness. Like you're not even moving, you're just flapping. But this is described in biblical Hebrew in what's called the PL stem. That's intensive. Why is the Spirit of God aggressively moving in this environment? Because it is overturning something. It is bringing something to a state of upheaval, chaos, and void.